Hello guys, welcome back to the Brutal Investor channel. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day today. In this episode, we're going to talk about one of the new stock tokens that Binance has listed on their website binance.com. And this token is also accompanied by a few other token announcements as well. And this token is basically going to be MicroStrategy or MSTR, followed by Apple AAPL and Microsoft MSFT. So Binance basically announced on the 26th, which is yesterday, that they will be listing these tokens, these stock tokens on Binance.com with the schedule as follows. So MicroStrategy will be traded with BUSD, Binance USD, on 26th of April, which was yesterday, 1:30 p.m. UTC. Apple will be traded with BUSD on the 28th of April, which will be tomorrow at 1:30 p.m. UTC, and Microsoft will be traded with BUSD on the 30th of April at 1:30 p.m. UTC. Right. So again, these are some of the most exciting announcements because Binance has been trying to retain its number one position by doing things much more innovatively, and I believe that they have been watching FTX, which is another popular exchange for cryptocurrency trading and margin tradings and trading stock tokens specifically. And Binance has seen their success, and they have listed Coinbase's coin token recently, and with that they're basically continuing a slew of listings of some of these stock tokens, and the most popular one is probably going to be MicroStrategy's stock token. The reason is MicroStrategy is become this iconic company that has been a very strong advocate of Bitcoin, and how all the institutions must get into Bitcoin in order to add Bitcoin in their balance sheet as a hedge against inflation, right? So if you guys don't know what MicroStrategy is, there are several videos that cover the MicroStrategy corporation, and they are some of the most popular companies in the crypto space, and their CEO Michael Saylor has appeared in numerous news as well as crypto news articles stating his strong support for Bitcoin, and how not only MicroStrategy, which is his company that holds Bitcoin, he himself has a very decent stack of Bitcoins as a hedge against inflation, and he has kind of been the playing a pivotal role when it comes to Bitcoin adoption, not only by several other institutions but also by Tesla and Elon Musk himself. Because one of the tweets that MicroStrategy made, MicroStrategy's Michael Saylor made, kind of like exposed Elon Musk into getting his hands on Bitcoin. It's not like Elon Musk didn't really know about Bitcoin before. It's some of the actions that Michael Saylor, who is the CEO of MicroStrategy, his actions kind of accelerated Elon Musk's adoption of Bitcoin, not only in his personal account, but also in for Tesla's adoption as well, right? So again, that's a kind of like a backstory for what MicroStrategy is. Again, I just oversimplified this introduction, but if you guys want to learn more about MicroStrategy, obviously you can go to their website, and it's a simple Google search. If you search for MicroStrategy or Michael Saylor, you'll be able to not only read about Michael Saylor himself, but also do your own research when it comes to MicroStrategy, right? So these stocks will be tradable on Binance's website on the following days. So what are Binance stock tokens, right? So again, since I made my last video, I have received numerous questions on what Binance stock tokens are, and is it actually considered a cryptocurrency, or is it something that is just a tokenized version of stocks, which means is it similar to the original stock, and what makes it different than just buying the regular stock itself, right? So I'm going to kind of like cover some of those aspects, because the MSTR token available on Binance is not yet, the information for that is not yet available on CoinGecko or CoinMarketCap. So Again, there's not a lot of technical information to dive into, but I will cover some broad aspects of what the Binance stock tokens are as per the Binance website, right? So Binance stock tokens are tokens of stocks, i.e. shares of public companies that trade on traditional stock exchanges. Again, pretty self-explanatory. It's basically tokenized versions of stocks that trade on the stock exchange, right? Each stock token represents one ordinary share of the relevant stock. These stock tokens are fully backed by a depository portfolio of underlying securities held by CM Equity AG, Germany CME, and also several other underlying security holders will be added to Binance's trusted custodians of these stocks, right? Holders of stock tokens will qualify for economic returns on the underlying shares, including potential dividends. So again, this is something which is very important, right? So basically, each and every stock token represents a stock that's backing it, and those stocks are held by some of these, some of these custodians, such as CM Equity AG, as well as Germany's CME, right? So these are some of the underlying managers of these stocks, and every time Binance buys a stock, they mint an equivalent amount of stock tokens in such a way that the stock tokens are always backed by a stock behind them. It's not simply created from thin air. And also, the most important thing is these stock tokens can be purchased quite easily on Binance, and these token holders not only have the direct exposure for these companies that they're trying to purchase, but also are entitled to potential dividends. Okay, if you don't know what dividend is, I suggest you to again watch videos on YouTube. Several companies, not all companies, if you hold a share of their stock, you are entitled to a small portion of the profit that's generated by the company, if it even generates a profit in the first place, right? These are some of the most common ways of passive investments that people kind of like invest in. There are growth stocks, there are dividend stocks, and there are growth dividend stocks. So growth stocks are stocks that do not pay dividends. Some of the examples are Tesla stock, right? And a dividend stock is something that doesn't really have an increased expectation of price potential, but it pays a reliable dividend year after year. They also increase their dividends as well, right? But a growth dividend stock has the best of both worlds. So by holding a stock token, you are also entitled to a portion of the potential dividends that you may earn by holding that particular stock token, right? Binance will monitor market demand and look to provide a channel to more stock tokens issued and sold by CME. So again, pretty straightforward explanation. The Binance have stated that they will monitor market demand and will ensure to provide a channel to follow stock tokens to add stock tokens issued by and issued and sold by CME. Trading of stock tokens will follow traditional exchange hours and is not available for residents in mainland China, Turkey, the United States, and other restricted jurisdictions as finally determined by CME. So basically, the key points that you need to understand is by holding a stock token, you are basically following the exact same rules of holding the underlying stock, right? You have to only trade within the limitations of the the trading hours, which is usually from 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. or something like that, and you won't be able to trade it 24 hours, 7 days a week, on just like any other cryptocurrency, right? And the volatility will be directly correlated with the volatility of the underlying stock, right? So it's pretty straightforward. And if you are living in mainland China, Turkey, the United States, and any other restricted jurisdictions, which is also mentioned on Binance's website, then you may not be able to buy or sell any of these stock tokens, right? Interested traders will only be able to trade stock tokens after satisfying all requisite know your customer and other relevant compliance requirements. Again, since stock tokens stock tokens are based on stocks which are extremely regulated, you can only trade stock tokens by performing an in-depth KYC and meeting the eligible requirements, right? For more information on stock tokens, please refer to the guide here. So again, we'll quickly read through those guide information shortly. So again, you also need to understand that trading stock tokens does not exclude you from any form of risk. It's your responsibility to understand the risks before you invest on any stock tokens, just like investing in stocks, right? Just because it's tokenized, it doesn't really mean that it's in any way less riskier than the stocks themselves, right? So please bear that in mind. I know it's kind of weird that we are talking about stock tokens on our channel, but again, we are trying to cover every possible way by which you can become brutally rich. And again, stock tokens are some of the easier and the most reliable and trustworthy ways by which you can get exposure to the underlying stocks themselves. And based on the type of stock tokens that are being listed on Binance or any other exchange such as FTX, you can kind of see how popular these stocks are and how the demand for tokenizing these stocks are in the decentralized ecosystem, right? So that's something that should definitely make you understand that a stock token can in many ways be a cryptocurrency in its own right, and therefore it is a means by which you can become a successful investor, right? Again, after doing your own research, obviously, right? So again, that's some of the pretty pretty high overview of what Binance stock tokens are. And also again, the MicroStrategy stock token is something that is going to be very interesting because of the fact that MicroStrategy itself is a very rapidly growing company, especially after its exposure to Bitcoin, right? And in fact, many states in the, or sorry, many companies in the United States have you know have sought direct exposure to Bitcoin, but for some reason they don't really want to custody their own Bitcoins because of the little bit of technical knowledge that you need to have if you are to self-custody your own Bitcoins, and making sure that you do all the paperwork. Instead, they choose to buy MicroStrategy shares, which is a much more traditional and easier way for them to get exposure to Bitcoin, because MicroStrategy itself is an unofficial ETF, kind of like a fund in the eyes of US investors, right, and institutions. So since MicroStrategy has huge swaths of Bitcoins, MicroStrategy shares, or MSTR shares, are technically a way of directly or a way of indirectly getting exposure to Bitcoins, and therefore many institutions have literally been piling up on MicroStrategy shares, which has seen incredible growth in this year, right, since the beginning of this year. So having that kind of background in mind is very important before investing in MicroStrategy's stock token, right? So let's go and cover a little bit more detail. So this is basically these are some of the tokens, stock tokens that they have already listed on Binance. If you see, we covered Coinbase's Coin token, which was trading at $302.10 at the time of making this video, and there was a last price today, and it recently had a dip of 1.46%. The volume is $300,000, which is not a lot, but again, it will definitely increase. If you see Tesla, which is something that we didn't cover in our channel, that's because of the fact that by covering Tesla, we basically we didn't really want to make sure, like we wanted to cover any other cryptocurrency projects that are extremely promising and that have extremely high potential rather than Tesla, because many people consider that Tesla is extremely overvalued at this point. But I would personally disagree. But I wanted to cover Tesla at a later date, right? But when it comes to MicroStrategy itself, MicroStrategy is relatively it has seen some significant growth by the start of this year, but there is a lot of potential, especially when MicroStrategy stock price is directly linked with Bitcoin's price, and Bitcoin is expected to go to $100,000 by the end of this year, which I do believe it can. And when that happens, MicroStrategy's share will also significantly explode, right? And that's one of the reasons I want to cover in this video. And as you can see, the token price were stock token of MicroStrategy is worth $676. Again, pretty expensive, but if you are into getting exposure to a stock token that has an incredible potential to grow and make some significant gains, then you might want to look into the MicroStrategy stock token, right? And the trading volume is significantly low compared to Tesla's token as well as Coinbase's coin token. But again, this trading volume is only going to increase as more and more people start using this, and it's only a 1 day old stock token that's listed on Binance, so the volume is not going to be that high, but it will continue to rise. But you can also see that it had a mild 0.25% increase in the past 24 hours, right? So again, what are stock tokens? Equities are stocks that trade on traditional exchanges, for example, New York Stock Exchange or NASDAQ. The tokens are pegged to the performance of the respective underlying. If the price of the underlying rises, the price of the stock token is expected to rise accordingly. If the price of the underlying falls, the price of the stock token is expected to fall accordingly. Again, a pretty peripheral explanation of what stock tokens are. If you didn't really understand my explanation previously, basically stock tokens are tokens that track the price of a particular stock, and this stock is usually listed in a popular exchange such as New York Stock Exchange and NASDAQ. Both of them are in the US, and they basically are pegged. The stock token's price is basically pegged to the price of the underlying stock, and when the stock price goes up, the stock token that's tracking the or that's pegged to the stock's price goes up, and when the original stock goes down, the stock token that's pegged to the stock goes down as well, right? So again, I hope I have made some bit of sense in explaining you guys what stock tokens are, but if you still didn't understand it, I promise you by the end of this video you will, right? How do stock tokens work? Stock tokens are tokens created on collateral held by a third party. Therefore, each token represents a share in a stock corporation. This way, the token price is pegged to the price of the underlying. So again, how do stock tokens work? So they work in a way by which like a centralized entity like FTX or Binance buys underlying stock, and then they create a collateral and they kind of mint these tokens which kind of represents the underlying asset, and thereby maintaining a peg between the underlying stock. That's how the stock tokens get their value, right? So again, a pretty quick and simple explanation of how it works. How can I get access to stock tokens? You need an account on Binance. Again, if you guys want to create your own account on Binance and buy these stock tokens, I have a link in the description which will give you some really good discounts and benefits, and that will also help support my channel as well, right? So if you guys want to access this, and if you don't have a Binance account already, and if you want to support this channel, I would appreciate if you could use the link in the description to sign up for the Binance account, right? So this also means that you must not be a resident of restricted jurisdictions, including China, United States of America, and Turkey. After successful onboarding, you will be unlocked for stock token trading. Please note that we may need additional KYC information from you. The trading experience will be similar to what you know already. Availability may be restricted in your country. You may only register for stock token trading if you are allowed to do so according to your local jurisdiction. You are also encouraged to consult your personal and local situation in order to determine whether trading stock tokens on Binance is right for you. Again, they have some mixture of disclaimers along with what you would need to do in order to create a stock token, in order to buy a stock token. So all you need is a Binance account. You may you may not be able to access these stock tokens if you're a resident of China, United States, or Turkey, or if your country is one of the restricted countries in the list, where if you live in these countries, you may not be able to buy these stock tokens. But if you are from a country that has no restrictions, you have to do a KYC, and there may be additional KYC requirement at some point in the future from you that they may request. The trading experience is going to be similar to like trading any cryptocurrency on Binance, right? You have to also make sure that you talk to someone who's knowledgeable with these kind of trading or and cryptocurrency laws and stock laws or security laws within your country if you have any further questions, right? Again, pretty self-explanatory. Can I redeem stock tokens? You will also be able to trade them for other crypto assets using Binance. Again, this is the main functionality, I would say, when it comes to stock tokens. Apart from just being a tokenized version of a stock, what else can stock tokens do? So a stock token can basically enable you to trade your stock tokens to another actual cryptocurrency of your choice, which is not really possible when it comes to holding the actual stock. Let's say you hold an actual stock of Tesla versus holding a stock token of Tesla, right, on Binance. On Binance, if you hold a stock token of Tesla, you can basically convert your stock token, you can kind of sell your stock token into buying Bitcoin or Ethereum or any other cryptocurrency for that matter, right? But when it comes to holding the actual stock itself, you won't be able to do that in your stock exchange because you may be able to probably do it in Canada, where you can probably get yourself exposure to Bitcoin ETFs or Ethereum ETF, but you won't be able to convert it to, let's say, Tether or any other cryptocurrency for that matter, right? So that's probably one of the main functional use cases of stock tokens, where you will be able to trade them for other cryptocurrency assets, just like how you trade your USD Tether for Bitcoin or Bitcoin to Tether or vice versa, right? Stock tokens are also generally redeemable from the issuer. Special fee for redemption may apply. Please note that any redemption is generally settled in stablecoin. So basically, if you are to hold a stock token, you are also generally able to redeem it from the issuer, right? So you'll be able to, in some cases, redeem the actual stock, but again, the settlements will be done through a stable coin, so you have to have that in mind. How are corporate actions handled? Holding stock tokens does not transfer any shareholder rights to you. So again, that's something which is like a disadvantage for holding a stock token. If you hold a stock token, that does not mean that you are entitled to a shareholder right, because you're not actually owning the share. The share is basically represented in the form of a stock token, but it's not actually the stock itself that you're holding, right? You exclusively participate in the economic development of the underlying, including dividend payment as well. So you will be, although you will not be able to hold the shareholder rights, you will still be able to participate in the economic development, whereby you will be exposed to the price appreciation if there is any, and you will also be entitled to dividends if there is any, right? We will pursue all reasonable actions to have the tokens on Binance reflect the corporate actions of the underlying equities. Stock splits will be respected. So there is a couple of things that you need to know, because Binance is kind of acting as this middleman between you and the actual company, because Binance is who is actually owning the actual stock. It's you just hold a tokenized version of the stock, so you're kind of like relying on Binance to provide you with all the kind of reasonable updates from the corporation itself or from the company itself, whose stock token you're holding, right? So Binance have stated that they will do they'll take reasonable steps in order to make sure that that transition is smooth, but you may not necessarily get all the benefits all the time, right? And if there is a stock split, you will probably it will probably impact your stock tokens, where if a stock splits from, let's say, $100 stock splits into two $50 stocks, then your stock token will also reflect the same, and you may have two stock tokens of $50 each instead of holding one stock token which was worth $100, right? So again, pretty straightforward. What hours to stock tokens trade on Binance? Stock tokens are tradable after 2 minutes open and before 2 minutes close during market hours. Again, something that you really need to pay attention to, because if the actual stock is trading from 9 to 4:30 p.m., right, 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m., your stock tokens will only be tradable from 9 2 a.m. to 4:28 p.m. right? So again, it's not a very important difference, but it is a subtle difference nonetheless. I just want you guys want to be aware of it, right? Who can trade stock tokens? Only users who has KYC, service agreement, and completed the questionnaire can trade stock tokens. Again, people who have uh, read the who have read the service agreement and who have performed a successful KYC and who have completed the questionnaire can trade stock tokens. Although I do believe that Binance must definitely look into their grammar and spelling spelling mistakes and all those stuff on their website. It will make it much more smoother to read, right? So anyway, moving on to their introduction to stock tokens. Again, I'm not going to cover these ones because these are some things that I've already covered before. If you want to read through this information, I suggest you to go to Binance.com and you can search for FAQs, crypto derivatives, and go to stock tokens in order to learn in depth about what these stock tokens are, right? And again, most of the information that we discussed right now will be the same, and they may go a little bit more detailed into what these stock tokens are, and they may also provide some pictorial guidance on how you can purchase and how the trading interface will look like when you purchase a stock token, and so on and so forth, right? So again, pretty interesting thing that Binance is doing, although it's not the first, because FTX has already done it and they are kind of like the masters of it. It is definitely something that will attract more users to Binance, as Binance is always trying to kind of like improve and adapt, right? So when it comes to MicroStrategy itself, I personally plan to buy some MicroStrategy tokens from Binance, but I have to probably wait for it to have a decent dip. One thing about MicroStrategy stocks tokens is that it kind of reflects the price of Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin goes up, MicroStrategy tokens go up, right? If Bitcoin goes down, MicroStrategy's tokenized stock goes down as well, right? So you kind of, if you have some decent understanding of the Bitcoin prices, and you can use the stock to flow model, for example, to kind of gauge where Bitcoin's next movement would be, and based on that, you can kind of trade MicroStrategy easily. Or if you're a long-term investor, you can probably buy MicroStrategy tokens and then hodl it for a short term or long term, depending on your price horizon, and then after a few years you will be left with some really good capital gains, which will also be a direct indication of the Bitcoin's price as well. So if you hold Bitcoins and if you hold MicroStrategy's share tokens, then you'll probably have some really good gains when Bitcoin goes up, because both the tokens, both the Bitcoin as well as MicroStrategy will continue to go up, because MicroStrategy's price depends on the Bitcoins that they're holding, right? So again, if you want to invest in coin or Coinbase's coin token, then I suggest you to have a look at my Coinbase video, where I gave like an overview of what that is and what's my thoughts on that. So that should be in my channel below. Again, if you guys want to invest in any of these tokens, please bear in mind that there's extreme risk involved in any activity that you take in cryptocurrency, and none of the information present in this video should be considered as financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, right? Please do your own research before you put your money on any of these tokens or any cryptocurrencies, right? Again, remember guys, you guys are not regular investors, you guys are brutal investors, so stay brutal. Thank you very much for watching my video, guys. If you like my video, please hit the like button and subscribe for more videos. See you in my next video. Bye.